What up, dudes? It's Gaz, and welcome back to the Warframe video. So, the video for today is not supposed to be a rant video, okay? So let's just start off with a video with that. It's supposed to be a story and the legend of CASCADIA Overcharge, I think it's called, where this Arcane came out. There's a whole story to it, so we're gonna get into it. If you enjoy this type of video or you enjoy my channel, make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you also hit that like button and all the other stuff. We also have a live stream. I will be live later tonight with some Warframe and maybe some Elden Ring or Destiny 2. Not sure which one of those two I'm gonna go for. All right, so let's tell the legend and the tragedy of CASCADIA Overcharge the Nerfed. And you know, maybe a lot of people don't even know about this, but it's really been bothering me a lot. So we're making a video on going over this story, okay? And like I said, it's not supposed to be a rant video. If it turns into one midway through, that was not my intention, okay? So I do lots of videos on this game. I do videos on the new patch notes when those usually come out too. And as we can see, on April 27th, the day that Angels of Zariman came out, I made a patch notes video. And we went over the patch notes. So we're looking at all the new items in here. And this new item is called CASCADIA Overcharge. This is the day of the release patch notes. While overshields are active, plus 300% crit chance. That's all it said. That's all. It's a Warframe Arcane. While you have overshields active, you're basically a mini hero. So it will be good on hero. It will be good with Protea, blah, blah, blah. Here are the patch notes. The official DE patch notes I was reading off of. CASCADIA Overcharge for a Warframe while overshields are active, plus 300% crit chance. This is a new Zariman Arcane that requires rank 5 and like 21 or 200,000 rep basically to get it fully leveled up. Or you could farm from Thrax or Void Angels. And then here it is in game today. It has been turned from a Warframe Arcane into a secondary pistol Arcane. So that's what we're going to start with, and there's a lot more to it than what I'm saying right now. They might have said it's a pistol Arcane, but it was working for all weapons like it should have been from those patch notes. A Warframe Arcane. So yes, they actually... I'm not done yet. I'm not done yet, given the context on this. Now we look at the wiki. So this is on the 27th. Flashbang alert. So introduced on the 27th, the next day, fixed CASCADIA Overcharge description incorrectly stating that it's a Warframe Arcane when it is a secondary weapon Arcane. So you never could have actually equipped it to the frame, but you could equip it to the weapon. But in the spaghetti code, it actually was a Warframe Arcane working for every weapon. As you can see a couple days later, air quotes, fixed CASCADIA Overcharge's critical chance buff applying to all weapons instead of just a secondary, as intended. What do you mean as intended? It's in your patch notes right here. I've got gameplay footage of me using it in-game. It was actually in-game working on all weapons, guys. They pulled a fast one on us. As you can see, I don't normally red crit the Brahma like this. This was CASCADIA Overcharge working. So, they tried to pull the wool over our eyes. Someone was telling me they changed the actual patch notes, but I just looked at the patch notes today, and they're still the same they were in that video I made on the 27th. So let's just give the context here of what actually happened over the course of like a week or two. So day one patch, reading the patch notes, it is indicated as a Warframe Arcane. While overshields are active, big crit chance for all. It just said big crit chance in general. It didn't say it for anything specific, just for weapons. Okay, and then same day, you know, it's working in-game as a Warframe Arcane, but you equip this Arcane on your secondary. It was basically like a stat stick Arcane you could kind of look at it as. Because I wasn't using the weapon this Arcane is equipped to, I was using it to buff crits for other things, because honestly, a lot of times the secondaries in this game, they're not exactly main DPS sources. You know, like, Latum is a really good example of a good main DPS source, Nell Prime, Kuva Nucor, blah, 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 a couple other good ones too. But, like, I mean, it felt great. It felt proper that it was actually, you know, making secondaries useful, even though it wasn't the secondary itself being useful, it was the Arcane slot being useful. But let's just finish the context. So they said it's a Warframe Arcane, the patch notes. It's equipable on secondaries. It actually comes out. It's And it's exactly as stated in their patch notes. It works on all guns. It red crits the Brahma. It makes Baruch red crit even more. It makes Mesa get more crits. Like, it's working as intended, and it's a very powerful Arcane, probably worthy of the rank 5 requirements. I mean, rank 5 is a lot of grinding out, especially with the Zariman Syndicate not exactly having enticing top-tier rewards. I mean, this is on the same level as Emergence Dissipate. Remember that Arcane we were comparing to Arcane Energize last week? This is supposed to be on the same level as that. And I'd just say this Arcane is completely worthless and not using anymore now that it only worked on itself. Because, yeah, 300% crit chance. That sounds pretty good. Why is this guy complaining about 300% crit chance? Doesn't he like red crits? I do like red crits, but look at what we're turning down to get access to that increased crit chance. Only while overshields are active, by the way. So the one I usually run on the Latum is primary or secondary deadhead. So on precision headshot kill, 120% increased damage for 24 seconds. Stacks up to 3 times. So that's actually 360% increased damage if you get 3 headshot kills. But you also get an increased headshot multiplier, so since you're going for headshot kills already, that's even more damage, and also reduced weapon recoil. And since the Latum has pretty high recoil, that can be pretty helpful as well. Stack that with steady hands, and you got full recoil reduction. So, I'm turning down this for this. Now, at max rank, it'll be 300% increased 300% increased crit chance. But, as you can see right here, there is nothing else on this mod, or on this Arcane, besides that. So when the overshields are not active, it's doing literally nothing. And yeah, we're turning down these passive effects of, like, let's look at another one right here. On dexterity, passive effects, increased combo duration for melees, increased holster speed at all times. You don't need to do anything with the weapon to get access to these buffs. And it also will give you like 360% increased damage if you get some kills to your melee too. So we're turning down 360% increased damage and some good other stats for a conditional 300% increased crit chance. So basically builds have evolved to this point nowadays where we're not even running base damage mods because of these crazy powerful Arcanes. And this one just doesn't seem like it's anywhere near on the same level. Like, you could potentially run like Hornet Strike or whatever, which is what we used to do back in the day before we had these Arcanes, where it's like, okay, here's my base damage right here. I'll put the base damage mod. I'll put it right here, no more lethal torrent, and then I can run Cascadia Overcharge. I got plenty of crit chance. You're still losing out on like 140% damage. Now, I know the Latum is not the best example because the Latum can be built lots of different ways, but I'm just saying in general, you would not turn down 360% increased damage and potentially good other stats for a conditional crit chance buff. I've tried, and this is not the only Arcane that is kind of like this too. This is the only Arcane that was sneakily changed, and like they basically tried to trick us. And anyone that used the Arcane for the first couple weeks before they nerfed it, I'm going to call it a nerf because they said it wasn't intended. It's in your patch notes, man. What do you mean it's not intended? It's literally in your patch notes saying it's a Warframe Arcane. And it was working in the code, in the live game, as a Warframe Arcane, working on all weapons. So, I looked at the other ones too. Fractalized Reset, another one of the new, the primary Arcanes. This thing is garbage. I've used it on the Tonkor, which you'd think would be good on. On ability cast, 240% reload speed for 5 seconds. You know what also gives you reload speed? Primary Merciless. Yeah, it's less reload speed, but what this one does, 30% increased reload speed, increased ammo maximum, and you get stacks of damage, up to 360% damage. So we're stacking 360% damage again for this. And it's another conditional buff. I honestly feel like these Arcanes should just be at all times. If I'm putting on Cascadia Overcharge, I should have 300% increased crit chance at all times. Then I'd maybe at least consider passing up that 360% increased damage for that. And honestly, Fractalized Reset, even with 240% increased reload speed, it probably wouldn't even be worth it a lot of the time. Because, I mean, yeah, that's a big reload buff, but 360% increased damage is I'm going to kill the enemy. I'm not going to need to reload twice to kill the enemies if they're going to die in one hit with Merciless. 30% reload speed is pretty good in the long run as well. So, yeah, these Arcanes, like, they're just not as they're not as powerful as they should be. Like, you would think this would be good, but when you look at what you're trading off on, it doesn't feel like it's worth it to me. Here's another one right here, Cascadia Accuracy. Very similar. Wasn't, like, stealthily nerfed, but on roll, increased crit chance on headshots for 4 seconds. Yeah, 4 seconds. Constantly rolling. Not getting your deadhead increase, not getting any this is bad. Most of these arcanes suck. I'm gonna be honest right now. Most of these arcanes are really, really bad as far as the new ones. Emergence Dissipate is pretty good. It requires a specific play style, but I could at least, I've used it. I've thought it was pretty good. I wouldn't it's not like a mainstay use case for me. But I don't feel like these arcanes are exciting enough. And especially this one, in its nerf state, is not worth it being at rank 5. If I grind into rank 5 for this, that must have been like an outdated video. And someone's like, hey, look, it works on everything. Because that's the only way anyone's going to be like, I'm going to go out of my way to get this arcane. So as you look right here, Eternal Eradicate. Let's just go over every arcane here and see if they're exciting or not. Or worth it. Eternal Eradicate, increased operator amp damage. This will probably be pretty good once we have the second arcane slot for amp. So keep an eye on that one potentially being used a lot more. Cascading Accuracy, we just went over that one. On roll, increased crit chance on headshots for 4 seconds. Doesn't do anything for body shots. Basically only useful on specific types of weapons, and useful is a very generous word to use there. Fractalize Reset, we just went over this one. On ability cast, 240% increased reload speed for 5 seconds. I tried it on the Toncore. I don't think you could sell this arcane to someone right now because it's so underwhelming. Yeah, maybe just make it where it's like that all the time because we're sacrificing so much damage. Molt Vigor on operator ability cast. Next, Warframe ability has 45% increased power strength. Honestly, this one's fine. Maybe make it 50 just so it's a nice looking number. But this is great for snapshotting buffs and channeled abilities. So I think this one's fine. Honestly, you could probably switch Cascadia Overcharge and Molt Vigor around because Cascadia Overcharge is meh now. Emergent Savior, on lethal damage, become invincible for 5 seconds and recover 60% health, cooldown 90 seconds. Remember, this is only on the operator, so it's not even that big of a deal if you die in operator anyway. This is not worth the arcane slot. Yeah, if it worked for frames, maybe, like an extra life every 90 seconds, that could be nice for being lazy. But, yeah, this is another one. I don't even know if people are buying this right now because it's just, so meh. You only have 2 operator arcane slots anyway. I'm not sacrificing one of them for this. Cascadia Empowered. On status effect, deal 750 increased damage, matching the damage type of the status effect. I have tried this on the Kuva New Core. That's 750 damage, not affected by Bane mods, not affected by crits. It's just 750 damage, and it gets reduced by armor too. So this one seems like it would have been really good. I'm still going to test it some more, but it's not as crazy as it seems, unfortunately. Twin Comac, I tried it out on, but then I tried to quit Twin Comac out with Merciless, and it was still a one-shot kill. So I'm not sure. I think Twin Comac might be placebo there, but we'll have to test this some more. Molt Efficiency, while shields are active, gains 6% increased ability duration per second, up to a maximum of 36%. So on abilities with high base duration, or frames that like duration a lot like Gauss, this is great. But on frames like Ash, where the base duration of Ash's smoke invisibility is 10 seconds anyway, this only gives you 3 extra seconds of duration on Ash's Invis, so it's not worth on him at least. But it's for what it is, it's interesting enough. It's not meta. It's interesting. Might be good on Gauss. Emergence Renewed, on energy depletion, increase energy regeneration by 300% over 5 seconds, cooldown of 30 seconds. This is for operator abilities. So if you were to use, let's say, Void Strike to drain all your operator energy and then get a damage buff, your operator's energy bar will start regenerating pretty fast after using this. It is not amp damage. So this operator arcane, it might not be useful now. It might have a use case in the future, though. So then we got Emergence Dissipate, the mini energized thing we talked about in the previous video, and then the one we talked about the whole video, Cascadia Overcharge, the nerfed. So if you look at all these arcanes, it's we got 1, 2, 3, 4. We got 4 arcanes. So less than half of them are what I consider good. Maybe 4 or 5. 4 or 5 of them, about half of them are good. Air quotes, good. Better than what we already have? No. Usable? Yes. So I don't think we should be nerfing Cascadia Overcharge, and even without calling it a nerf. How did this get into the patch notes and the actual game code working on Warframes? It was in the patch notes as working as a Warframe Arcane. It was in the game as secondary arcane. It was in the code as a everything arcane. It's just a gigantic mess. And the fact this is rank 5 is just another stinger at the end where it's you Yeah, you were grinding at the rank 5. You want to get a nerfed Arcane, a tedious Arcane and Energized like side grade replacement, or you know what we also could grind out? We got plenty of these here. I got all the couches and I got all the shoes that you could ever ask for, and 100k Vista Suite key for a big empty room with nothing in it. How about that? How about instead of those Arcanes, we got some shoes for you, dude. All right, guys, that's the video. I had to get this off my chest, and you know I like these types of videos. Was it a rant? Okay, let me know in the comments down below. Was this a rant video or not? I feel like it wasn't a rant video. It was a story video that turned into a rant video, and you know, it just. I wanted this for Warframe history, okay? This is probably the biggest mess up in the patch notes I've ever seen, and not to mention, it was probably the most fun Arcane in the update that got shot down. But did it even get shot down? Yes, it did. All right, I'll see you guys next time. Take it easy, and peace.